Hello everyone and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. Faction rallies have returned for the second time in Season 3, and in this video, hopefully I will make your decision as to which faction you pledge allegiance to a little bit easier. With Bungie making it so that you can only pledge to one faction per account, the decision actually matters. Some of you will likely pick your faction just based purely on allegiance to that faction. Some of you, however, will pick the faction based on the weapons that the faction will offer if they win. However, I do believe that most of you will pick your faction based purely on the exotic weapon catalyst that that faction sells. I'm talking, of course, about Future War Cult selling the catalyst for Sunshot, Dead Orbit selling the catalyst for Graviton Lance, and New Monarchy selling the exotic catalyst for Sweet Business. Each one of these exotic catalysts requires you to reach rank 50 with the respective faction. That is a total of 1,000 faction tokens that you must earn in a week's time. It is worth noting that, let's say for example, during the first faction rally of Season 3, you pledged to Future War Cult and could only make it to rank 40 before reset. If you go pledge to Future War Cult again, you will start back off at rank 40. Your progression carries over. However, as it stands right now, there are only 3 planned faction rallies for Season 3, meaning if you don't complete each faction's catalyst by reaching rank 50 each faction rally, then you're going to miss out on one. Or are you? I have some really good news for you guys. Yesterday, I reached out on Twitter to DMG, one of the community managers over at Bungie, and thankfully he responded to me and answered this question. I asked if there will be ways to earn the exotic weapon catalyst for Sunshot, Graviton Lance, and Sweet Business in Year 2 after the September update if we are not able to obtain them in Season 3 here in Year 1. He responded with, yes, you will be able to, but did not tell me exactly how. He said that there will be more information about how you will earn these catalysts in Year 2 later this summer. Additionally, he confirmed that there are currently only 3 planned faction rallies for all of Season 3, which we already knew, but it's nice to have confirmation that they aren't planning on adding a 4th, at least not as of yet. So having this information should take the pressure off quite a bit of you. Like I said, hypothetically, if you weren't able to complete an exotic catalyst or acquire an exotic catalyst during the first faction rally, you can now go back to that original vendor or original faction, pledge allegiance to them, and not worry about missing out entirely on one of the other 2 exotic catalysts. So, taking all that into consideration, which faction should you pledge allegiance to this go round? Well, considering the fact that Dead Orbit won by a very, very wide margin during the first faction rally, most of you probably went for that Graviton Lance exotic catalyst. Graviton Lance is currently very meta in PvP, along with Vigilance Wing. It is one of the 2 weapons that people use the most. Now, if you have not yet acquired the catalyst for Graviton Lance and you are a fan of the Crucible, I would definitely recommend you choosing this faction this go round. The masterworked version of Graviton Lance comes with plus 20 range, the ability to generate orbs, and Hidden Hand as a secret intrinsic perk. Hidden Hand will give you plus 15 aim assist on Graviton Lance, and if you don't know what aim assist does, it makes your sights a little bit more sticky. In addition to that, it also widens the hit marker for the enemies that you're shooting at, meaning if you shoot a little bit, say around the shoulder area, it could potentially still count as a headshot. That's basically what aim assist does. So like I said, if you are a fan of the Crucible and you have not yet masterworked your Graviton Lance, then you're definitely going to want to head over to Dead Orbit to pledge allegiance and start working on this faction so that you can get that catalyst. It's very much worth it in the Crucible. For you PvE fans, Graviton Lance is not terrible. There's just other weapons that outplay it in PvE. However, if you're doing something like, say, a Nightfall or a Heroic Strike or Heroic Adventure that has Void Burn, Graviton Lance is very, very deadly. Outside of anything that has Void Singe, I personally don't use it all that much. It's okay to use in patrol and some strikes here and there, but like I said, it's not necessarily that it's bad in PvE, there's just better options. So now we're going to take a look at Sunshot. Now, in the first faction rally, I pledged allegiance to Future War Cult because I am a huge fan of Sunshot. I'm not that big of a Crucible player myself. I prefer to play PvE mostly, and of these 3 exotic catalysts, the most PvE-based one would be Sunshot. Sunshot is decent in the Crucible, but kind of like Graviton Lance in PvE, it's not necessarily bad, there's just better options. But as far as PvE is concerned, in my personal opinion, Sunshot is the best one for PvE out of these 3 exotic catalysts. Fully masterworking a Sunshot will give you the ability to generate orbs on double kills, as well as giving you stat bonuses, which include plus 30 to range and plus 20 to stability. Now, on a hand cannon, range is very important. Stability is also very important because it resets your sights so that you can continue to land precisions. Now, as you can see here, this Masterwork Sunshot barely moves. Now, I'm not talking about the recoil, I'm talking about the resetting of the sights. Whenever I shoot, yes, the gun is going to bounce. That is not what stability does. What stability does is it resets your sights back on the target that you're originally shooting at, and as you can see, these are very tight groups that I'm shooting without having to do very much managing of my controller and my sights on my joysticks. Now, Sunshot Masterworked is super crispy, guys. It feels very good, very smooth. It kind of feels like Destiny 1 Year 1 hand cannons in the fact that they had a ton of range and a ton of stability as base stats. It feels very good, and I personally absolutely love it. So if you're a fan of PvE and you want a solid exotic energy weapon that is going to help you clear out a ton of ads very effectively and at decent range, then Sunshot is definitely the one that you want to go with this faction rally. So head over to Future Roar Cult and drop your allegiance so that you can get this bad boy. It is very good. Moving on to our final faction, which is New Monarchy. The exotic catalyst that they offer is for sweet business. This exotic catalyst, like the other 2, will grant orbs on multi-kills, but also adds the, I guess you could call it perk, of reduced flinch of incoming damage when the weapon is fully spun up. Now, in my personal opinion, of these 3 exotic catalysts that the factions are offering, this is by far and wide the most underwhelming. With Graviton Lance and Sunshot, you're getting pretty big stat bonuses that you're going to reap the benefits of with every single time that you pull the trigger. However, with Sweet Business, incoming flinch, I mean, you're only going to take advantage of that when you're being shot at and you're trying to hold down the trigger to do damage at a boss. Now, granted, Sweet Business is a pretty good boss-dealing DPS weapon, but it's not going to deal as much damage as, you know, something like, say, Darcy, or something like, say, Tarantula, or, you know, things like that. So, for me, you know, your kinetic slot is really more about clearing ads, and Sweet Business is not the best ad-clearing weapon. So, I mean, if you're just a really die-hard fan of Sweet Business, you really like auto rifles, more power to you, man. To each his own. You know, we all have our own playstyles. If that is the playstyle that works for you, then by all means, go get yourself a New Monarchy pledge. But for me personally, that's going to be the absolute last one that I try to go for, because in my opinion, Sunshot and Graviton Lance's catalysts are much better. Now, ultimately, your decision is going to come down to your playstyle. Which one of these factions is going to offer the weapon or catalyst that you're going to get the most benefit from? Which one of these are you going to use the most? Which one of these are you going to enjoy the most? These are the questions that you need to ask yourself. But hopefully, if you were undecided, this information that I provided in this video helped you come to a decision a little bit easier. That is going to bring this video to an end, guys. I will have a video up within the next few days, hopefully, pending life, if it doesn't get in the way. But I'll have a video showing some really effective ways to farm faction tokens. I did manage to reach rank 50 with Future War Cult in the first faction rally on both Xbox One and PS4, which is a total of 2,000 faction tokens that I earned in 1 week, and I honestly did not play that much. I put in maybe 20 hours for the week, which is kind of a lot, but it breaks down to like 4 hours a day. So yeah, I'll have that video up at some point this week. Hopefully, if you guys are having some struggles, it will help you out, but that is going to bring this video to an end. If you enjoyed it, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you are already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.